Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Starseed Immersion podcast. Today's guest is Kimberly Hamilton. She is a mindset coach, author, and founder of Shift to Rise, a brand devoted to empowering individuals to break free from limiting patterns and to rise into their highest frequency. Through her programs and resources, Kimberly helps others align spiritually, mentally, and emotionally for true transformation. She is also the voice behind the Frequency and Flow podcast and author of powerful tools like Awaken Her, a guided journey for soul-led women. Rooted in faith and purpose, Kimberly is on a mission to help you speak life, shift your mindset, and unapologetically step into who you're meant to be. Ooh, I love that because that is all that we talk about on this podcast.
Love that we are so in alignment, and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here, Kimberly. And we did speak a little bit about your background, but I would love to hear for the audience how you entered into the space. Tell me a little bit about the beginnings of your journey and where you are today.
So, the beginnings of my journey was as childhood. I always felt like I was different um, or didn't belong. So, I knew then that there was something special. And how I got into this space after being a nurse for 20 years, I'm a nurse by profession. I still work in that space. And I do bring in, some of my spiritualism into that space now. So, I was divinely guided into being a mindset coach, even being an author, down to being a host of my own podcast show. Just God put me on a journey, and man, it has truly transformed me, myself, at the core. Um, and that's where everything comes and stems from. My book is literally a peek into my journey. Some of the lessons and the tools that I've picked up along the way that I've learned and implemented in my life that has made it so this level of peace that I want everyone to literally experience because everyone has it within them. So that's basically, what my purpose is to show them like, hey, I've been overweight. I've been in abusive relationships. I've been in traumatic situations. And on the other side, if you do the inner work and your shadow work, like there is peace. And if I can do it, anyone else can do it. You can transform your life at any moment. I'm not going to say it's simple, but you've got to do the work, which is the title of my next episode.
And I love that too because I've had experiences where it's very much like raise your frequency, raise your frequency. So you focus on the meditation aspect, you focus on raising the frequency. And then at some point, I'm like, it's not shifting anything like down here. Like I do feel that rise in frequency, which is more peaceful and everything. But then when I come back down, I realize, well, there's still some unaddressed stuff, right?
Yes.
And that is the deep work that gets to be looked at. Because then I'm like, well, am I using spirituality as a form of escapism? And I didn't know I was consciously doing it, but I was guided down that path because I do believe, like, wow, raising your frequency, that's going to be the answer. But the deeper work underneath all of that, of releasing the heavy things, is how we naturally raise our frequency but without, and you work in mindset. So I'd love to kind of dive into how our mind affects our experience of reality and the frequency that we're in.
So a lot what I've learned through clients and just working and speaking with other people, just the way they're looking at things could really turn if you just have a mindset shift about it. You really could turn around the trajectory of that situation. Um, People have their mindsets about money or just how they're supposed to live. Here's a common one. People think that because their parents lived a certain way or had certain illnesses, that, oh, well, my parents had it, I'm supposed to have it. That's a mindset You know what I'm saying? If you shift it to, well, that was my parents and that really has nothing to do with me. What am I doing about my health so that I don't have that or follow into that suit? It's just a mindset shift in every aspect. No matter what it is, you can really change the trajectory of a situation.
Mm.
And just in that, and I've learned to love through situations. I don't know. I'm sure you're familiar with Louise Hay. And I learned this when I was a teenager. Okay, I always had this saying. It says, "The power of love is working in and through this situation, and only good can come of it." So I would always say that when something bad would happen, and that would just change. You know what I'm saying? Like that would just change my mindset. Like, okay, I'm loving myself through this situation. It may not be what it needs to be right now, but I'm going to love the situation, love everything about it, and love through it. So again, that's a mindset change too, to switch it from, oh, the situation is here to hurt me, harm me, change it and love your way through it. So like I just try to dive in deep and help people just change it a little bit. You just change the way that you think about certain situations, even yourself. The self-sabotage talk that everyone, we're all, we do it. But when you're not happy with something, that power's in the spoken word. You got to be intentional. It's like it's a snowball effect to transformation. It's a snowball effect to rise to a higher frequency. Self-love. Self-love is one of the higher, what I call one of the main keys in transforming and rising to a higher frequency. You've got to love yourself no matter what, the flaws and all. Mm. So like, yeah, I keep going and go deep into it, but yes, it's more to it. Into shifting to rise. And that's the name of my company, Shift to Rise, because you have to have a mindset shift in order to rise higher than where you are, because obviously where you are and where you're thinking is not getting you to that next level where you need to be or desire to be. So you have to shift in order to rise higher.
Yes. And this is really big because I do realize a lot of our experiences is our perception or relationship to it, right? So if we can shift our mindset, we're shifting our relationship to how we're experiencing something.
Yes.
And just through that, right, just by shifting ourselves internally, we can have a different experience of reality. And
Yes.
another thing you pointed out was self-love. And I feel like self-love in this space is talked about often, but even in my own personal journey, I didn't quite fully understand what self-love is or was. So would you like to dive deeper into how to love yourself? What is self-love and how can we practice that more?
Yes, so self-love is more than just looking in the mirror and affirming every day that you love yourself. Self-love, there's self-care that falls under that. What are you doing to show yourself that love? What are you doing to show up for yourself in your space of business or your space of entrepreneurship? Self-love is learning to set healthy boundaries. Self-love is knowing to say no when the situation is no longer serving you for your highest good. You have to love yourself enough to know, like, this isn't working for me and it's okay for me to let it go. Because once you close that door, then something greater comes for you. But self-love is, again, it's affirming it over yourself, cutting out the self-sabotage talk, just self-love. Pour into what you want to put out. And you have to affirm it every day. You have to say it until you feel it, until you believe it, until you just walk it. It should be your lifestyle. Like, I love myself. I literally walk past a mirror. There isn't a mirror that I can walk past and I'm just like, oh my God, I love you. Like, I love myself that much and more. But seriously, but there was a time when I didn't. There was a time where I wasn't in that space. So what it took for me to get here, like, there's nothing you can tell me now. Like, I built myself up so far that, and I literally want other people to know what that feels like. Love yourself. The love that you're looking for in other people, the love that you're looking for in other situations, the love that you're looking for outside of yourself. Hold up that mirror and find it within yourself first, and then everything else will fall in alignment.
I resonate with that. And I feel a lot of the inner work for me around love came from childhood. So I
Mm,
noticed recently I've been guided back to doing chat like inner child, but not just like, oh, okay, like we're healing the parts of the inner child and then we forget about it and then we kind of go back to our daily experience.
yes.
This is actually about living through the eyes of the inner child. And this
Mhm.
has been my journey recently, where instead of being like, oh, well, my inner child never got to express herself, let's just heal it in the imagination and then come back to reality and forget that I just did that, right? Instead, it was like, well, you know what? Like, my inner child never had the experience of painting, and she's always wanted to paint. And
Mm,
through this process, I've almost discovered aspects of me that maybe I've abandoned. And those were the parts of me that were knocking, saying, hey, this part actually really wants to come through you. So creativity has been reintroduced back to my life. And it's been a consistent thing of like, oh, tuning in. How does my inner child want to be loved today? And she's always
mhm.
painting. And so I picked up the paintbrush and I started painting again. Whereas in the past, when I was doing all this like healing around the inner child, around love, it was like, oh, okay, just like give your inner child a hug and make sure she feels okay. And once that's done, that's past this past. Like we're back in the present moment. Let's be an adult again, right? Um,
Yeah.
so a lot of that has personally shifted in my experience of experiencing self-love.
So I want to piggyback on you speaking of your inner child and going back to that space. I don't remember what it was I was watching or reading, and they said to go back and take that 10-year-old child version of yourself, take her by the hand and walk her through your daily life to show her that you made it, that you love her, that you have her. And so I did that, and it was like one of the most emotional things for me. It felt good, just to be like, you know what, I got you. We did this, and we're gonna keep going. So don't you worry, like, and just take her by the hand, literally walk through the doors, like, and it was so, it was good. It felt really good. I swear, I want people to do that. You have to heal that inner child. She will forever scream and she will forever show up.
Oh, yes.
Unhealed at that. Unhealed. So yeah, you've got to go back and you've got to get her. You've got to, shield her. You've got to heal her. You've got to let her know, like, hey, whatever went on, or whatever, it's not your fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're worthy. So yeah, I've
Yeah.
had, like I said, I had to go through all that. I felt all the feels.
This is a huge part, feeling your feelings. Okay,
Yes.
so let's kind of tie everything together. So we have the mind, the mindset, right? We have the inner child, the heart, the love. And then, so where does the soul come in? So what's the significance of this, the connecting to our original soul essence and our soul frequency?
So I believe that that part comes in right in the middle, the good part. Okay. And when I say the good part, I mean, you have the old you here with your old patterns, your old ways, your old thoughts and, beliefs. And then you have that middle sweet spot where you're changing up the way you think, the way you move, the way you go about things and how you're looking at life, because you now have mindset shifts that you're implementing into your life so that you can move forward to live a better life, right? So that sweet spot in between is where the soul can connect and come back to its essence of who you were before life made you who it wanted you to be. So on the other side of that is the new version of you. Okay, I now do this. I now think this way. I now eat this way. I don't play with that. I don't do this anymore. I don't accept this. I don't hang with people that do this. So that's that middle part where you got to play that tug of war, because it is a game of tug of war. Because the old you constantly wants to come out because it's the familiar. Where the new you're battling, and you've got to take back your power and overcome it and say, no, this is not what we do anymore. This is not how we think anymore. This is not how we move anymore. This is not how we live anymore. We live like this. and we're going to keep growing in that essence. So that's what I feel like, that's where your soul connects us. It's bringing you back to your higher self.
Yeah, beautiful. So there's a lot of things in the spirit, like there are things we heal from the emotional space, and then there are things that we heal from a spiritual space. And you were kind of talking a little bit about your mystical experiences working as a nurse and seeing entities on people, right? So
Yeah.
can we dive a little bit further into this spiritual understanding of ourselves, including soul contracts? What exactly are entities? You were even talking about portals. So let's dive a little bit into the mystical aspect of our experience.
So the mystical aspect is more for me, I call it, because I grew up in a metaphysical church. So um, that aspect is it's just the other side. It's not, well, we're all spiritual beings. First of all, we all have to understand that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so I learned that as a kid. So you have to look at everything as spirits. Everyone has a spirit. We're all spirits. Whether you're a good spirit or a bad spirit, we're all spirits. We're just, our bodies, this is our vessel. So that's what I mean by that when and you can tell like some people having um being spiritually gifted is what I call it. Sometimes you're able to see that. You're able to see that demonic entity attached to certain people. I really can't explain it. It's not even a feeling. I literally see it. So, like I was telling you with my patient, and she was like literally on her deathbed, and I felt compelled to pray over her so that her soul could be free to have a moment, even if it was a few hours of peace in her life, no matter what happened. Because I don't know what happened. I just see what's going on right now. It's in front of me. And I told you, like, I was praying over her and just rubbing her head. And I'm like, it's okay. God is a forgiving God. No matter what went on, whatever happened, He's a forgiving God. He forgives everyone. You can always wake up the next day as long as Les Brown used to say, if you can get up, if you can look up, you can get up. And so I'm just praying over her, and like she's like fighting and turning her head side to side, and she starts repenting. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it. We didn't mean to do it. Whatever it is. I really wasn't trying to hear it because at the moment I'm just like, what is happening? So like she finished, doing her thing. Like, I said a prayer over her, and I left the room, ended up going home for the evening. And that's what I was telling you, that night, it was more stars out. It was almost like the universe was like, welcome to yourself, You're now a demon slayer. No. But but like the universe was like speaking. It was acknowledging. I saw 3 shooting stars that same night, and so my dog was barking at the corner of the wall. And when I turned to look, and there was a figure. You could tell it was like, if it stood up, it would have been 5 feet or more, human size, but it was bent over, and it was walking on all fours, and it was black, just like a shadow black, and just ran across the wall, like running away. So like, things like that. Anyone else, something like that probably would have scared them. For me, I'm so connected with Source on a spiritual level that I have learned to allow Spirit to use me sometimes. I've learned to allow Spirit to speak to me. So yeah, that's just that's like it's not the gist of my mysticism, but I've known since I was a kid that I was different, and I've had different experiences. I could be dreaming something, and something could be happening to someone that I love at that moment. I have my grandma, always speak of her because on my journey, she's literally like has guided me. That's why I always say I'm divinely guided. There's literally times where I would hear a whisper that'll say, no weapons formed against me shall prosper at random times. Because I understand that we only see what's here in the 3D, but my spirit guides and my spirit team see things that's going on behind me, around me, and towards me that I don't see in the spiritual world. And so that to protect me, and I always say, like in the mornings, one of my prayers is for the universal spirit to lead me, guide me, and protect me at all times. Lead me, guide me, and protect me. And I tell people, if you don't know what to pray at all, I always say, lead me, guide me, and protect me. That's you're pretty much covered in that, in that space. So yeah, I always, ask that, and I'm shown that I am deeply protected, very, very protected. I could be
Um,
going through a situation. Oh, go ahead.
No, no, I was going to say it sounds the way that you've lived your life has always been intuitively guided. So whenever you receive that hit of now it's time to write a book, now it's time to start a podcast, now it's time to do X, Y, and Z. So it's like I feel the way you've lived your life has always been in feminine flow. But have you had experience, like a different experience? Because that's just what I'm hearing and perceiving. But I'm
um,
curious what you've.
I'm not gonna say it's always been in feminine flow. I'm gonna say half and half because I feel like I've spent majority of my life in survival mode.
Mm,
And I feel like now I am getting into my feminine flow, my divine feminine, so but I also still have my masculine because I am, I'm saying, I'm single. So I hold on to, I'm holding down my own empire. Um, so I have to go into my masculine, but I don't allow it to make me bitter or hard, shall I say, because I'm still a girly. Everything in my home is pink, as you can see behind me. I love my butterflies. So I'm very much still girly and in my feminine, but I do rise up and I'm in my masculine a lot. And probably a lot of that is because I have lived in survival mode. Lost my kid's dad when my daughter was in sixth grade, and she just graduated from Purdue University, and she's working on her master's now at Fordham University in New York. So, I've had to be mom and dad, and a lot of people don't really understand that part. Like that's a lot on a female, and to maintain everything that that I've done and that I'm doing. So I play it. I'm 50-50 with it. I still have my spa days, my routines. I still take care of me and pour into me. I have to. Like, that's a necessity. And then I have my days where I'm like, okay, I've got to, work 10 hours on my business. And then again, I still work as a nurse. So I do my 2 days at work. I'm a nurse. Now I'm not mindset coach. I'm not podcast host today. I'm not author. I'm nurse. So yeah, I wear a lot of hats. I love it. I love what I do. So that keeps the stress down. And that's my other main thing is to be in alignment. You've got to know how to maintain your stress. You've got to know how to regulate your emotions. That's huge. Because a lot of times we find out we're the ones that send our own way during situations. And, that's a hard pill to swallow, but you got to swallow it. That's part of the inner work. So, yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing so vulnerably because I do feel this is important to not just see the end result, but also to understand that there's like we're multidimensional, so we're juggling so much in between. And I heard from somewhere, from one of my mentors, even, he talks about timelines and how we can have multiple things happening within the same timeline. So
Yeah,
you can literally be living a cycle of you just started a new relationship, you just ended a relationship. So
yeah,
you started a new career or you ended a career. And like it's simultaneous. Like you had your career, you had your relationship, you have your kids, you have your spiritual journey, and it's all like being balanced out in this time frame. And
And
it's
a fitness journey, because I was 193 pounds at my
and
heaviest. So
fitness, right? We have so much on our plates, and it's like the spiritual or just being multidimensional beings, our soul is here to navigate all these themes in our lives. So for you, you're living a certain experience, and your way of navigating this experience is your soul growth. And which kind of led me to like I had this intuitive question come in was like how do we navigate the in between, right? Like you see where you were at, and then you saw maybe even give us a little clue of like how do we even know what's our value or what's our goal? Like what is it that we want?
oh, that's a good question. For me, it was always a vision. I feel like God gives you a vision at some point in your life. And so that vision stays with you no matter what. And so you keep seeing this vision and you're like, okay, I keep seeing this vision. I know this is not it. This is good. I love where I am, but that's not the vision that keeps coming up in my head. So I want to say it starts with a vision or just, a goal, which is nothing more than what a vision, right? You write down a goal because you see a vision and then you execute it. You work out a plan and you start executing it and you become it, you bring it to fruition. But for me, it started as a vision. I know, like, there's just certain things I would see myself standing there and looking out, and I'm literally like on top of the world. So for me, I won't stop until I'm there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it starts with a vision. You got to have a goal. That's like going out in your car and you don't have a destination. You're just out there just driving around. You're not going anywhere. What are you doing, right? So your vision is like your GPS. That's your destination,
Mhm.
and they give you the directions in the road, right? That's your plan. That's how you implement it, and that's how your plan of action. And you go from there. You do everything, and you keep your eye on the prize. Man, you can't. There's going to be people that come and distract you. There's people that's going to come and not understand what you're doing, and you're going to lose some people along the way. But you got to know that as long as you keep your eye on your prize and your vision, because your vision is for you. Everybody's not allowed, or everyone's not supposed to come along with you. And you got to understand that it's part of your journey. That's like Taoism, right? Taoism teaches you the study of flow, allowing things to flow to you that's good for you and when it comes, and then also knowing when to allow it to flow away without resistance. So it's the game of life, man, and learning how to play it.
Yes. And I think that's a beautiful concept of flow because that's part of the surrendering process. Like
Yes.
what I'm hearing is like you've anchored for some of us who don't really know what it is that we want, like there's a good example of this for me personally. It's like I always felt the energy of freedom and I did not know what that was going to look like. And I was only given the next step, which was like I have to leave my job in order to step into this frequency. So I left my job and then like for the last few years I've been trying different things. Nothing ever stuck, but it was always like this feeling of like, okay, I feel this feeling of freedom or I feel this certain feeling. And then what flowed into my life was the next thing that matched this frequency or the next step that would get me further along in my journey. So that's kind of what I'm hearing. It's like you've connected to this vision, which gives this frequency of where you want to feel, where you see yourself, and where
Yeah.
you experience yourself. And along the way you're given guidance, you meet certain people, you do certain things, you're given guidance to take the next step and
Yeah.
you keep going, right? And it doesn't mean to like forget about everything that you have in this present moment because we're building the bridge. We can't just like throw everything away and like
Yeah.
hop into this new space because
Exactly.
we're going to be
Yeah.
ungrounded.
Yes. Yeah, you can't forget the true reality and things that's going on around you. But I always tell like my kids, it's how you react to things. And I tell them, I'm like, stuff's gonna happen. Stuff's gonna fall down around you. stuff's going to come at you at all times, but it's how you react to it that, that's the main thing. You can't just react and get out of context. So now guess what? Now that's a distraction because now you're not thinking about keeping your eye on the prize or moving forward. You're over here in this madness, this chaos. So my other favorite saying is we are the creators of our reality. And I piggyback on that and say we're also the creators of our chaos. So what are you creating on a daily basis? That comes with being intentional. So everything falls in alignment together. Like you have to be intentional. You got to self love, pour love into yourself. You got to not self sabotage. So all these different tools, like I've taken them and implemented them, and that's what made me who I am now, which is where I'm like, okay, I refuse to go back to who I was then. So yeah,
And I think that's beautiful because what I hear is like utilize the tools that you've learned and what works for you. Like, I used to have this belief that like there's only one way to practice spirituality. Like I was so set on like there has to be a right way, right? This is where the whole truth seeking comes in, like seeking the truth of who I am and what's the right way to play this game of life and to hack the universe and get
yeah,
out of the matrix.
yeah,
But there's so many tools and it's just about what you align to, which I kind of want to lead into your journal, your Awaken Her journaling tool. Do you want to share a little bit about what that is?
absolutely. I want to dive back real quick with what you were just saying about you were open to it. I was going to say you have to have a mind that's open and receptive at all times and always be the student, okay? Especially when you're on a spiritual journey. There's so many things out there, and that's the difference between being religious and spiritual. Religion is a set of rules that they tell you that you have to follow, whereas being spiritual are a set of rules that you make for yourself that aligns with you so that you are at your highest optimal peace, you know? It's what works for you. So for me, I can only tell people like, yeah, journaling works for me, affirmation. Some people that may not work for them. Try meditation. You have to figure out what works for you. That's why it's your journey. So yeah, but going back to your question. What was your question again?
Which was you sharing one of your tools, the Awaken Her tool.
Yeah, so my Awaken Her journal, it came about because so many people, even like the ladies that I work with, they want to be on a journey or they want more out of life and they don't really know how to go about doing it, or some people are just afraid to seek out help or ask someone. So my journal, the journal prompts in it are ones that I've picked specifically for that, just so you can ask yourself those deep questions. Really figure out what it is that you want out of life, where you're going, and what you're doing right now in this space, what needs to be changed so that you can get to that part in life and become the woman that you want to be, or that you're becoming. So, because I love who I'm becoming. So
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's just, yeah, I picked out the journal prompts, even the affirmations that are in there that I want them to affirm over themselves. Like I really want women to get in the habit of saying affirmations. You don't understand how significant it is in a journey, or significant it is for your self-worth. Because once you start saying them so often and so much, like I change mine often. I have the thing that's next to my mirror, and I had a piece of paper that I started. I used to live in a hotel for 14 months when I left Chicago. So I would have it next to the mirror and I would say these things to myself over and over again, but in the mirror, because that way I can look at myself, I can feel it, I can believe it, and then everything comes to fruition is to a point where you just say them and it's like, yes, I am this, I'm happy, I am whole, and everything is true. You bring it to light. So yeah, like people just don't understand that. They still saying the self-sabotaging um phrases, and spirit and the universe is not understanding that if you're joking about stuff like that. So you got to be intentional with the words that come out of your mouth. And so that's what my journal is, to teach them all of that. It has affirmations in it. The journal prompts really make you think. You have to really sit with yourself to really start doing some inner work and some shadow work to really bring up what needs to come out that needs to be healed.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And then also, I always ask my speakers if they would like to share a healing, an activation, a meditation with us to kind of guide us through personal journey?
I am going to do a 3 to 5 minute activation.
Okay.
Okay. Because I love meditating. I love just taking and sitting with myself in that space and just embracing the moment. So I'm going to take a couple of deep breaths. We're going to take a moment, close your eyes gently. Place your hand over your heart and just let yourself arrive right here, right now. Take a deep breath in through your nose and slowly exhale through your mouth. Let it all go. Another deep breath in. And on the exhale, I want you to whisper to yourself, I am safe, I am home, I am ready to rise. Now, allow this moment to become sacred. You're not just listening, you're remembering, you're reconnecting, and you're returning to who you truly are beneath the noise, the wounds, and the patterns. You are a divine being. You are not lost, just layered. You are not broken, just buried. And today, we rise. Feel your breath moving into your heart space. Feel that light begin to glow within you. It's your essence, your true frequency. Repeat these words softly in your mind or out loud. I now release all limiting beliefs that no longer serve me. I give myself permission to heal, to expand, and to shine. I reclaim my divine frequency. I rise with intention. I rise with love. I rise as who I was always meant to be. Take a final breath in, and as you exhale, feel yourself rooted in your body, aligned with your highest truth, and surrounded by light. You are not alone. You are not behind. You are in divine timing, and you are rising. Let this be the moment you remember who you are. Let this be the spark that sets your healing, your alignment, and your abundance into motion. And so it is. So how was that?
Thank you so much. I felt
Absolutely.
so amazingly calm and like
Yeah.
serene.
You know what's funny? When friends come over and they leave, they always call me back and they're like, I am so relaxed and calm after being in your presence. Like, and I'm like, good, thank you. That means I'm living out my purpose.
I do. I almost feel this like the source energy through you,
Yes,
like the energy of God through you. It
yes,
is this pure, it's so pure that there's nothing heavy that can attach. It's like it just
yes,
all you
yes,
feel is that peace
yes.
and serenity.
You got to know that God got you. Source got you. The universe got you, whatever you call it. You got to know that He got you. You know, you're in alignment. So, yes,
I love that so much. Well, thank you so much, Kimberly, for sharing that beautiful activation with us.
absolutely.
And are there any last words that you want to share with the audience before we invite you to share your free gift?
Yes, just know that, wherever you are in your journey and in the space that you are in, that you have the choice. to change it. You have the choice to get in alignment. You have the choice to refocus, realign, and just get in alignment with your true self, your true higher self. Because only you can do it for yourself. No one can do the work for you. And I
Yeah.
promise on the other end, there's peace.
And then there's people like you and I who are happy to hold your hand and hold the space for that.
Absolutely. You are
Yeah.
not alone. That's what Shift to Rise is for. You know, I have classes every Wednesday, Shift to Rise. And we talk about different things each week. I have worksheets, you know, that they have to work on and participate because you have to do the work. It's not just, oh, I'm going to take this class and I'm just going to say my affirmations one day. No, you have to make a commitment to yourself. It's a lifestyle change. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and this reminds me, one of the things that one of my beautiful friends have shared with me, because she's actually studied the neurological process, is that we can have all these experiences, but by writing it down, by actually implementing it, it proves to our brain the shift has already happened. So this
Yeah.
is the embodiment piece. Whereas when you speak your affirmations, when you write every single day and you
Yeah.
write into this new reality, you're rewiring your brain. And this is a huge part of the process of bringing the unseen into the seen.
Yes. It's also called manifestation, you know, manifesting. You're writing it down, you're seeing it. So the universe has no other way but to conspire and give you exactly that, you know. So, but yeah, that's a different show.
And now,
But
would you like to share your free gift with us?
yeah, so I am offering my guide, Embarking on Your Personal and Spiritual Journey, a comprehensive guide. I'm going to offer it free with the code STARSEED. If you go to my Stan store, which is Stan, STAN dot store, / Kimberly Hamilton, which is KIMBERLEYHAMILTON 08. And just put that in with your closing out, and you will get that downloaded into your files. It just gives you little tidbits and tools on how to get started on your journey or what to use with different tools you can implement on your journey. So it's very informative. And then go on that Stan store because there are other goodies on there as well.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kimberly, for sharing that with us. And you also have a website where they can connect with you for your most recent offerings. What is your website?
Yes, so that's the Stand Up Store / Kimberly Hamilton 08. And then for my podcast, it's Frequency and Flow. Frequency is FREQUEEN, like Queen, and Flow, podcast.com.
Awesome. That is so cute. I love
Yeah,
that. Well, thank you again, Kimberly, for coming on, sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you,
thank
everyone, for
you.
tuning in. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode.